Derek Barton along with you on Talk Rodeo. And today we're catching up with a gentleman that is with an organization that if you've ever been to a rodeo, you probably have seen their trailer and seen their team. Of course, we're talking with Rick Foster with the Justin Sports Medicine team. And, Rick, first of all, how long has the Justin Sports Medicine team been involved in pro rodeo?
So the program started in 1981 as far as going for a full season. And we've been started with, 10 rodeos at that time. And now we're up to about 125 rodeos and 600 rodeo performances. So we keep going.
Now, of course, you can't be in one place or in every place at one time. How many teams and stuff do you guys send out?
We have 3 mobile sports medicine trailers that everyone recognizes them with our athletes on the side, and Justin Sports Medicine that we pull into rodeo grounds. But at indoor rodeos, maybe when we're triple booked, we might have a portable building or use of another sports medicine trailer somewhere. And, so mainly we have three going steady, and then we have staff up to 8 staff members, program managers that will show up at a rodeo, manage that rodeo with a sports medicine kit or other athletic trainers somewhere, and then we'll work with them.
And how long have you been with the Justin Sports Medicine team?
I actually, ironically, I'm not that old, I think, but maybe I started. I was in college, and I actually worked the first rodeo they did when they introduced it in 1981 at the National Western Stock Show in Denver. And I was in college at that time, but I was trying to rodeo. I was also doing a little shoot safety seminar and treatment for rodeo athletes for Little Britches Rodeo at that time. So I was already involved in some respects. So here I got involved with the Justin Sports Medicine. But I volunteered for 5 years, and I think 1985 or 86, I went to Clovis, California, and since then I've been going.
Well, we're talking with Rick Foster here on Talk Rodeo. Rick is a member of the Justin Sports Medicine team. And, of course, anybody who's watched the NFR, they'll see Dr. Tandy Freeman that is interviewed a lot of times on TV for the injury reports and stuff. But, it's not just going to the rodeos and working on the cowboys and taping it on. But you guys have a program that when a cowboy is injured, they can come to you, they can come to Dr. Tandy Freeman, and you guys can give them consultations on what they need to do for their injuries to get them back on the rodeo trail.
Oh, absolutely. So, our program, people think of, well, what do you do in there? You tape an ankle, maybe stretch a back, and that's true. But there's a lot more to it. There's a lot of education, from nutrition to rehabilitation of an injury to where to be seen, as you mentioned. Refer them to our medical director, Dr. Freeman in Texas, to our network of other physicians around the country that are experienced not only top-level sports medicine physicians, but they're also very rodeo-oriented, which makes a big difference, too, to get the guys the right treatment, the right care, educate them. They can return to competition sooner and in a safer manner and be ready to ride again.
And the thing is, what a lot of people don't know, we hear Dr. Tandy Freeman and his clinic down in Texas, but there are other clinics, and I have a good friend that's with your team. His name's Chad Schmidt. You know him and stuff. And Orthopedic Center of the Rockies, where there's some referrals that you will send these people to, depending on geographic locations, too.
Yeah, absolutely. It depends on what the situation is, how much of a necessity or urgency it might be, as well as the familiarity with rodeo in athletes, as I mentioned. And yes, Orthopedic Center of the Rockies, where Chad is, as you said, a great friend of mine and one of our lead program managers as well, oversees a lot of the college programs with rodeo sports medicine. But he has a good network there that we can then refer to, and we can send guys in. And there's places all over, from our doctors in Idaho and Boise with Dr. Walker to there's Dr. Chris Miller in Wichita. There's all these connections of people, and Dr. Kickbush in Reno. You can go on and on. But yes, we have these connections, and that's where we'll send people as we need to.
Well, we're talking with Rick Foster here on Talk Rodeo, member of the Justin Sports Medicine team. And, for somebody who wants to get into sports medicine, it's a great program and it's a growing field. But when you got started in it, the technology and the way things have changed, it really has changed. So you have to be up on your game to be a part of this program.
Yes, we were talking about it I was talking with one of our lead associates, a physical therapist, athletic trainer out of Santa Fe, Tom Fagan, and he worked with the Philadelphia Eagles way back when they were a huge NFL team with leader in sports medicine. He worked with the Chicago Bulls. He's very well adverse to all types of athletics and sports medicine. But he's been working rodeo with us too since the mid to late 80s. We were talking about in those early days, we'd have guys that would walk in that would be 4 or 5 guys maybe would walk in. Right now we tell guys to come back because we're seeing 20 plus guys and maybe doing 100 treatments in a day. So it's overwhelming. And yeah, technology to experience to knowledge knowledge. It's always moving along, and we're trying to find ways to get guys back out there to compete.
We're talking with Rick Foster with the Justin Sports Medicine team here on Talk Rodeo. The other thing is, it takes a lot of schooling and training. If a person wants to get into sports medicine, what's your best suggestion for them?
Well, we get a lot of questions from a lot of the healthcare professionals, and the biggest thing is get your degree, appreciate helping rodeo athletes and taking care of them. And so that side of it can be pretty challenging when you get going. You need the experience in your own clinic, your own community. The knowledge in rodeo is something that helps, but it's just mainly getting involved with your knowledge of overall health care, and then certification in athletic training, licensure in physical therapy, and medical doctors that make up the main team.
Well, we're talking with Rick Foster here on Talk Rodeo, and let's wrap it up by the final thing I want to talk about is everybody thinks, well, you fix the Cowboys when they're hurt at the rodeos and everything else, but you guys go far beyond that. When a Cowboy is seriously injured, can't compete, or falling on hard times, Justin Sports Medicine team steps up and helps these Cowboys out.
Well, that's a great point you bring up, because the Justin Sports Medicine team is the first line of defense, and we're here for these guys that are riding, or if they're injured bad enough they can't ride. Then if it's a situation where they're out of competition and have challenging times financially, the Justin Cowboy Crisis Fund steps on in. So that's our second line of defense, and it's there 100%, and you can't say that about too many programs around. 100% of all the profits go back to the rodeo athletes. There is no one on a paid staff. Everyone's volunteer. Obviously, you have the lead physicians on there and Mike Rich, our director, that oversee all this, and these guys get taken care of, and that gets them back on their feet, as we say, or back in the saddle, as you might say. But it's a hand up, not a hand out, because these guys are most of these guys that take on this Justin Crisis Fund, money to get them going again, they'll do schools or actually do fundraisers to put money back into the program again. You got a great group of people, got a great organization, and it's the rodeo family.
Well, speaking from experience, back when I had cancer and I didn't even know it was coming, but the Justin Cowboy Crisis Fund stepped up and helped me out, and I was more than happy to get back to it. So, Rick, a great program, and we think that everything that you and all of your team, Dr. Tandy Freeman, does, and I'll tell you what, you make rodeo what it is today.
Well, let's have another good rodeo. Keep them healthy, and thank you very much.